1, 2, 3. Let me know in the chat how it sounds. What's going on, everybody? Justin Thomas here from Top Shelf Fandom. We've got Vikings a season, a 6B, aka the last season of Vikings coming at us. If I can just get an A-OK in the chat that the sound is good, because I got quite a few. I've chopped this trailer up quite a bit in hopes that I don't get just stricken down by the almighty studio gods. And we'll get into that a little bit, but let's see. Okay, all good with the audio. Thank you, Mackenzie L. Burns. What's going on, Sunflower Beth? Yeah, you are a awesome support system, and you're always so positive, and it's always great to see you here. So we are going to go over the Vikings a season 6B trailer. Skull to everybody. This is live, so we'll give a minute for everybody to get here. I might put it out on the old Twitter. Give myself a little bit of that right there. All right, so I really actually like this trailer, and this trailer surprisingly reminds me a lot of the gonna have to stop that. Okay. Of the got a lot of windows here of the Game of Thrones, and I'll play it, the Wicked Games, which is one of my favorite trailers ever. I believe it was for season 6 we had that. It follows a lot of the same beats, even with Gunhild undressing. There's a Melisandre undressing as well. I'll play it if we got time. But this is just to go over it. I always want to direct people, and I'll link it. King McKay, he's the best. He really is the king when it comes to Vikings, and I just would never say that there's a better content creator when it comes to Vikings than him, and he's done an excellent breakdown of this as well. Now, this has been announced that it's coming out in America, in the States, on Amazon December 30th, all at once. So that's interesting for a number of reasons. We'll get into the whole streaming model and a few of those aspects, but I kind of pushed to do this stream tonight, even though that I wasn't planning on doing it originally. Mackenzie L. Burns, thank you to you for the lovely insight that that's what was going on, because, it's likely that I'm doing a lot more behind the scenes these days on other channels, because just fiscally, that's a better way to go. And I think I'm pretty good at it. I think it's been proven. And I think that I'll probably do 1 or 2, 3 at most videos for Vikings, since it's going to come out all at once. Meaning, but I really think that they look like they are locking this up, guys, in a very, very satisfying way. And upon a rewatch of the series, I noticed 2 things that I want to get to before we go to the trailer. It just won't be that long. Friday night for everybody. I just want to go over it with you and hopefully not get stricken down by copyright gods. But I was watching and I was talking to my friend. I was like, they've done 2 things that no series in recent history has done well. And one of those is they've had a good daughter-son relationship with Bjorn in Lagertha, that he usually would classify that as a mama's boy. But no, his strength was for his mother. And he was, always stuck with her, even in his youthful, in his formative years and so forth. And I think that that's really important. And I think that we, as much as I like to give her shit for not following history, we'll get into that with the trailer, I think that there's things that we should applaud him for and say good job, because from a storytelling sense, he's done a really good job of conveying things. I get tears in my eyes when I watch that Lagertha funeral scene, not just because I love Catherine Winnick. I don't really like Bjorn all that much, because also it's a layered character, so he's kind of a scumbag. He's not the best father, but he's a great son. And usually you'd look at a guy that stuck with his mother, didn't go with his dad. Oh, he's a mama's boy. No, they avoided that. And then also a platonic love triangle with Egbert, Ragnar, and Athelstan. And then you throw Floki into the mix. I was rewatching those beautiful scenes, right, with Egbert and Ragnar, in which you have, what's going on, Omar? What's going on? Another great Viking aficionado right there. But yeah, I was watching those scenes with Ragnar and Egbert right before Ragnar's death, and subsequently Egbert's death. And watching them, they're arguing about Athelstan as if it was somebody they were dating. Ragnar's he went with me because he loved me more. And then Egbert's you couldn't protect him, because Floki kills Athelstan because he's jealous of him. But this is a totally platonic relationship between 4 men altogether. that is really well conveyed and shows the power of companionship. And I think that it's important to do. And yes, I have nothing against like, non-platonic male relationships and stuff like that, but it's kind of hard to ride that line that they wrote, I think. Like, and I think it did a lot of justice to show what these strong men, especially men that are in such like powerful positions at this time, they wouldn't have anybody else to talk to. So like, like their companionship is really important, and like nobody loses face. Is kind of what I'm trying to get at. I think that Hearst, for all the shit I give him with the fuck history and all these lame jokes, like the guy has done some significant like writing that breaks down some boundaries that I really think should. I never once looked at Catherine Winnick as a weak or over-shilled or, like righteous SJW. I'm a liberal myself. I got nothing wrong. I'm very progressive, but I don't like diversity that's forced. I don't like any sense of that, like, oh, they're just trying to like do something that's whatever. People, I hate the term woke, but I never felt that. I felt it was natural. I felt that the violence was good. They did it right, and that's like I never thought about that dynamic, and that's what makes it good storytelling. I was never like, oh, so they're trying to tell me that this shield maiden could. No. I never doubted it for a second. And then when she tried to have her, days on the farm at the end, she rightfully, as much as it hurts me to say, didn't get those, because a lot of those wars were started. Either she was a part of them, some of them she actually started the Civil War, stuff like that. Not that she was some evil person, but like, she protected the other women that were widowed by these wars. And that's a real thing that happened. So I think that Hearst, give him a little bit of an applause, because it looks like he's syncing up this series, closing the end on it. And he's got a nice little, we're about to roll it, Valhalla pitch in it, because he's doing Valhalla that is going to be on Netflix. And like I said, props to Mackenzie L. Burns for telling me that this is all going to be released at once. This is a good indication to me that Valhalla will probably run the same sort of distribution. And if we have time and if people are interested, I'll talk about the whole Warner Brothers and HBO Max and all that and what I think about that. I think it's really good for storytelling. It's not all that great for content creators, but to be honest, like 50% of me is pretty fucking pumped that this is all getting to me at once. So I think that, there's a lot of like good things that they've done. And it looks like they are sealing up 3 major threads here. And we're going with one of my favorites, Uba, in Vitsark. But Uba first. He is going to Greenland. I don't know if they're going to go all the way to like Nova Scotia and all that, but they go Iceland, Greenland, and then you get the Vinland sagas. Which, is them finding North America. But the point is, Uba has been consistently, first off, the guy that looks the most, let's all bullshit aside, he looks the most like fucking Ragnar, right? Like the dude, I believe it. I'm like, yeah, that's Ragnar's son. And he has fulfilled his father's dream. He did the East Anglia conquest, which would have been under what's known as Danelaw at the time, the historical accounts. Is that accurate? No, it is not. Fuck history. Michael Hurst, there you are. But it's really important that you have somebody that is fulfilling Ragnar's wants and needs in his dreams, what he aspired to do, what he sacrificed himself to do. He went and he died where he died in Northumbria for a fucking reason. Like, so the little piggies would go there. In the series, and then, whatever. We're not going to really get into history because fuck it. It's only on the History Channel, but his Amazon Prime, applause to you. And then we've got Vitsark, and then we've got Ivar, right? Who are, Ivar is going for the fame. Vitsark is more of the internal struggle, in my opinion, and we'll go through this trailer right now. And I really think that they're sealing this up. And the biggest thing that it really sticks out to me in this trailer, guys, is, how we've all kind of been saying, I think I did a video like right when Ragnar died saying, is Vikings worth watching? And like I said, in retrospect, it definitely is. Is it ever going to be what it was when Ragnar was alive? No, but this trailer starts off with that reference of the golden age. Maybe it's done. Like almost a meta take, right? On what we've all been feeling. And let's give it up to him still, because it's still been pretty goddamn enticing, very entertaining media. And it still deserves to be respected. There's not a lot coming out right now. Kane McCain beautifully like pointed out the loophole, and they said they'd come out in 2020, and they got into December 30th all at once. Again, check his breakdown out. But yeah, we'll roll it right here. I just want to say hi. So Omar, Ragnar Arkberg dynamic was fantastic. Ethelstan as a standalone character wasn't all that interesting, but works. So yeah, absolutely, Omar. And me and Omar had like I can't even remember where we were at with that argument, but like I really put my foot down on Bjorn not going to die from these wounds. And it looks to be like that's going to be the case. Like they're going to strap him onto a horse here, and he is almost going to be like the true cross was for the Crusaders. If anybody can get down with that metaphor of inspiring the troops, right? We're about to roll it, but it looks like, yeah, he's most likely going to die because, he got one of these guys through the stomach. I can't imagine that's too great. But he will be, armored up, and he will go there, and he will serve that purpose. And I think that's believable, because if anybody's watched Reservoir Dogs, I'm fucking dying here, man. Wound to the stomach is very, very painful, but you can live for a few days. So we'll see how that goes. And then we got Amberlyn, one of my earliest and most faithful, supporters, friend. I hope you are well, my dear. Uba is a total fave. He is the most yeah. Oh my God, yes, I love it. I love you, and I hate that why do all the people that I love in my life have names that I can't pronounce? Maybe I'm not worthy of your love. I'm just going to say Major. How you doing? And if we're going to roll these trailers, I split it into 2 parts, and I'm going to just roll them. We're going to hope I don't get shut down here. We're going to fight against the man. Mackenzie L. Burns, they will keep Bjorn alive for the majority of the season, as leaving 3 of his brothers battle out so much. Yeah, I don't agree with that. I think that Bjorn, and we'll get into it after, but I think Bjorn's done by episode 2. I had this conversation. I'm going to lay out how I think, if I was workshopping this, how I think it will go. And sometimes Justin Thomas is right, and sometimes he's an asshole. So let's go to the first one right now, and hopefully we don't get dropped.
I have to find. Everyone will always underestimate you. You must make them pay for it.
My darling Björn, we lost Ragnar. We lost Lagertha. Perhaps the golden age of the Vikings is gone.
We need you to live, to lead us. The army is fast. And Ivar is with him.
I don't think my destiny lies here. I have ambitions. When they dig up my bones, I want them to say, here is the most famous Viking who ever lived.
Okay, so let's stop it right there for now, and we're going to go to the second part. So this is what I really like. And could you guys hear can you give me an A-OK on the audio? Did you guys hear the audio for that trailer? Give me a big old thumbs up in the chat, because I don't want to have that going on, and I want to take a drink. I just want to see. Yeah, make sure you guys just heard that audio. I just need a A-OK on that, and we're good. Thank you, Mackenzie. God, I gotta send you some money, don't I? Okay, thanks, guys. Okay, so that was the first half of the trailer right there. So what I found very interesting about that is we see, first off, like the meta commentary, which there's something about me that really loves meta, meaning like the acknowledgement of the fans, right? Like not too on the nose, but just enough. And that maybe the golden age is done, and Ivar saying the army is vast, right? But Ivar is with them. I don't think, this is my theory. And now Omar will most likely prove wrong. I think I'd owe him. I got to look back at our Reddit chat, see if I owe you money or you owe me money. Omar, coming for it. If I owe you money, but if not, it's just a big joke, But yeah, I think that Ivar is going to turn on the ruse, because what needs to happen is within the first 2 episodes of these 10 episodes, the final 10 episodes of this wonderful, brilliant, vibrant, visceral series, all the key words in there. We need Ivar to go to England, right? He's gonna go. He has to go. He has to do that penultimate, the ultimate chess match with as we will see in the second half with Ethelstan, or I'm sorry, Alfred. They're all a bunch of Athels at some point, but Vitstrek is going to, and I know you're gonna hate how I say it, but look it up. they say it over there. Vitzerk is going to stay. So I think that Ivar is setting himself out for grander things. And he knows he has to solidify himself, because if he stays with the Rus, he is just going to be a soldier or a general within a great army. And I think Vitshek is going to stay, and I'm going to dare to say Herschel sticks to semi-history, because Vitzerk actually does die in the Ruslands. And I think we're going to roll it. We see a little bit of that. So I think that Ivar being a part of that army will actually help Kattegat. And we also have to look at that King Harold is now captive with them as well. So what we're working towards, and I would really hate this story thread, guys, if we had a situation in which Bjorn still being alive was just limping along and slogging through like story that we don't have a lot of time. We have 10 episodes to close out this series, which in all fairness, I think is enough. But if you were to slog that out, about 3 story threads will be solved with Bjorn's demise. He will die from those wounds, mark my words, that he took in the season finale, 6A. But this will result in Ivar turning on the Rus. Also, it will further Harold's movement to support Bjorn. And then Vitshek will make a decision to go against Ivar, as he says. And we see the mythical snake, what he saw when he was tripping balls and killed Lagatha. We see this in the second half that we're about to roll, I promise. I already got a copyright warning on YouTube on the side, so we got to space it out. Sorry for the conjecture, but here that is what it is. And we see that he is still on this. I don't think he's going to ever try actually kill Ivar, but he's going to go against him. So he sees this, mythical snake, the same vision he saw. Ivar is going to need to go to England. I think within your first 2 episodes, Bjorn dies at the end of episode 2. Episode 3, you might go over to Ubay, which I think is going to be fantastic. Like, that is the most fulfilling thing for me right there, because that story thread, like, I'll admit it, I get emotional for him actually like fulfilling what Ragnar wanted. And Ubba has been the most truthful and honest and dedicated son. He's not only taking care of all Bjorn's fucking kids. I mean, if you put Maury on, or you got Bjorn and Vitshek on Maury, like, Ube and Bjorn, like Ube would be doing like a dance around him, like just calling him out. It would be ghetto as fuck. But yeah, like Bjorn's not the best dad, but he's a good son. So yeah, I think that we're going to close all those up, and we're going to send our people on their way, a call of action per se. By the end of season 2, you have 8 episodes then to have Alfred first Ivar, and then you have Vitshek, whatever shenanigans he's going to get into the Rus. I tend to believe he's going to be burned to death at the stake, as the history, or at least the accounts say. And then you have Ube that is going to be conquering Greenland. And I don't know if they're going to, like I said, go all the way to Nova Scotia and Vinland. So let's see. I'm not expecting Bjorn to make it past episode 11. Ivar. Okay, so let's see what we got going on here. So, okay, so let's start with Omar. Ivar turning on the Rus is inevitable, but I believe it was Bjorn who said their army is vast. No, he did. Yeah, he said the army is vast, but Ivar is with them. So like, obviously, like, that's his main. I don't think he's saying that, Omar, in some like snarky way, like, but Ivar's with them, and like it's like an Ocean's 11, like escapade where like like Ivar's gonna pull a slick one. But I think that Ivar isn't gonna like that whole deal is not about him. He is second fiddle all day with the Rus, man. Like, that don't fit him. He needs to be great. He's chasing fame. He's gonna leave. Does he need to betray them to leave? No, he doesn't. He really doesn't. There's 2 catalysts that could really cause this, and one would be Vitshek coming at him. Another one would be what I'm proposing. So Bjorn is going to rise from the dead like Jon Snow. I told you there's a lot of fucking. I'm gonna play that trailer. It is almost beat for beat like one of the best, but it's not a bad thing. Trailer houses do this very well. But the Wicked Game season 6 trailer is almost beat for beat. I'm gonna play it. Okay, Westerosi Ninja, shout out to you. If Eric the Red first colonized Greenland, I'm thinking Uba comes back to England. Yeah, well, here you go, Westerosi Ninja, with all that intelligence and all that stuff like that does not apply to, this fictional story. I've been there myself, brother, and I love you, but no. Yeah, Eric the Red is the person that he gets kicked out. His dad gets kicked out of Iceland. Then his ass get kicked out of Greenland, and then he goes and he finds Vinland. Yes, I'm aware of the actual accounts, but if we wanted to go off the historical accounts, my friend, we'd be in a whole nother threat. It'd be a whole another deal. So that's not, yeah. I wouldn't refer to any of those. Uba tells Torvi he'd rather die than return to Kattegat. So yeah, no, he is not. I'm with Mackenzie. He is going to fulfill. That is like the fan service, but it's also really good. Like what he's done the East Anglia, he's done the Danelaw, he's done it all, people. Like he is the only fucking son that is worthy of Ragnar, in my opinion. It is what it is. So let's go to the second half. People piss me off sometimes with that. So.
I have to find that golden land. It's everything my father dreamed of. I'd rather die than return to Philly.
Right there. Right.
I have to find that golden land. It's everything my father dreamed of. I'd rather die than return to Philly.
So we commit our bodies to the deep.
I've been lost for so long.
Can we just recognize that we got Polo up in the mix? Any Rome fans out there? You got fucking Polo on your side. You got it. You got it going, man.
I abandoned the brother I loved the most. Since it's my fate to kill you, it makes sense for me to stay with you, I suppose.
My brother said that to me, James. If you're listening, I'd fucking kill you on the spot. You know this. Fuck you.
Kattegat is at our mercy. We're massively outnumbered.
You have just given it up.
Some of us will perish for a Viking.
Imagine if a guy that's got a big hole in his stomach pretty much calling you a bitch. Like, so you just give. That's gotta light a fire.
Death is bliss.
Come on. I messed it up. I'm sorry, guys. But this is your Melisandre moment right here. Apologies.
I have to find that golden land. It's everything my father dreamed of. I'd rather die than return to Philly.
So we commit our bodies to the deep.
I've been lost for so long.
I abandoned the brother I loved the most. Since it's
Another
my fate to
platonic
kill you, it makes
relationship.
sense for me to stay with you, I suppose.
Kattegat is at our mercy. We're massively outnumbered.
You have just given it up.
Some of us will perish for a Viking.
Could that be Bitsec? That is how he dies in the count.
Don't be afraid.
I'm still alive, huh? What took you so long?
The Leviathan.
You still claim to be Vikings? Then act like Vikings! Come with me!
Rightfully so, King McKay in his wonderful video. Go to it, check it out. Talks about Alfred right there.
It's impossible.
So in my opinion, he is going to be like the true cross. Like he is going to be like, you know, like an emblem. He's going to be a source of support for them to raise their banners behind. And I think it's a beautiful, beautiful episode or trailer right there. So we get Omar, blah, blah, blah. The Kraken appears. And then Chad, I don't mind spoilers. Yeah, I mean, spoiler. Leaving Eric to clean up in Greenland. You know, Eric the Red just like perpetually is kicked out of like every single like fucking civilization that he's a part of. Like he goes like one place and like he sees a guy and he's like and kills him and he's like, oh, I guess I gotta leave. And then, you know, North America maybe is found. But yeah, I really like that we have like 3 threads that I think in 10 episodes can be done really well as long as they don't drag out Bjorn's death. I think Bjorn should die at the end of episode 2. I think he should rise in 1, and that means very slowly rise and gets his armor strapped on him and he's bleeding the fuck out. He's not gonna live. There's no way he's not gonna fight, but you know, that's gonna do something psychologically to them and it's gonna work out. And then let's see, let me see if I can play this without any actual copyright strikes. Hold on, guys, because I gotta do it the cheap way. Tell me if you notice a little bit of similarity. This is what I just love this too. Like, just on a fandom standpoint, this is one of the best fucking trailers. But I think it's almost beat for beat. I'll line them up and do it if I ever get the fucking time.
Everyone will always underestimate you.
Be good to go from there. That's Bjorn.
Taken from us, we're going to take back and more.
Strange what desire make foolish people do.
The great victory I saw in the flames, all of it was a lie.
What a wicked game you play.
Maybe the golden age is over.
Feel this way. What a wicked thing.
All is lost, darkest moments.
Every one of us is poor and powerless, yet we can overthrow an empire.
You're in the great game now. And the great game is terrifying.
Here it comes.
Order your man to step aside or there will be violence.
I choose violence.
Gunhild right there.
Nobody knows no one.
Never been much of a fighter.
Say I'm crazy if you want, but I think that is going to fucking actually play out. That's beat for beat. I will do those side by side, and that's excellent trailer work right there. Definite trailer house work. With boutiques do those, so like it makes sense. But like beat for beat, like all is lost, right? Yeah, Jon Snow, Bjorn is Jon Snow per se, and then you know with everything, even from the action beats to the cut up. For some reason, I don't know what Gunhild's doing. She appears to be stripping, but yeah, I honestly think they took inspiration from that, whether they know it or not. So the Westeros scene. Oh, what's going on, Claudia? Bjorn needs to live longer so he can admit adultery with Alicia Steve. Listen, man, if that guy needs to admit adultery, you need him alive for 3 more fucking like decades of seasons, like at least 30 episodes. All right, because like Bjorn is a wonderful son, like I said, but he's a terrible human being altogether, which is a nice gray area for it all. So yeah. So I think the big questions are going to be is where's everybody going to end up? Because I think that we're all pretty like sympathetic or empathetic at least to Alfred. I know I am. I really like Alfred. I think he's coming to his own. You know, I think that we'd all like to root for him, and we know he's going to like you can't kill him, because I think that even for Hearst is too much. I think that that's a step over the line, right? So I think that, like, you know, you have to think, what can Ivar do in England that can still come off as cementing Ivar down in this hypothetical, fictional, thematic history, per se, to really cement himself, right? Like, without, like, totally just, like, taking a big old shit on history. That's the big question. So that is going to be a hard line for them to walk, in my opinion, but I think it's going to happen. So let's see. Omar, I don't think he makes it to episode 2. Episode 1, technically 11. I've heard will be one of the best entire season. That'll be the deciding battle of Bjorn and the Roos. Yeah, I mean, trust me, Omar. Like, I mean, if I had to do like a specific bet, I don't know. I want to say 2. It seems like episode 1 would be all of them like mustering the strength and the courage, right, to get to what, and then him rising, and then episode 2 is him rising and then him dying. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that like it's episode 2, but in theory we're fucking throwing darts at the same fucking point, bro. Like, we're on the same page with that. which I'm proud to be on the same page. You're very smart men. Gunhild looks like she was gonna sacrifice herself, unfortunately, based on her dress. Yeah, it was a very sexy sacrifice, and you don't see that. And I don't want to get on a whole diatribe here, but I mean, we don't see a lot of that these days, right? Like, where's our sexy sacrifices these days? What happened, guys? Let's make sacrifice sexy again. Yeah. We love Alfred. Aging is maging. The only thing Ivar is going to England to fight Alfred. Yeah. I mean, yeah, brother, I do. I mean, it's a fucking television show, and the only person, the story, optics of storytelling are very focused. You know, they're not very wide. The margins aren't very wide, meaning you can't like him go there for any alternative motives. There's your Chekhov's chess game that's already been fulfilled or needs to be fulfilled. So yeah, I do. I mean, like, I agree with you, like, in theory, like, that makes a little sense, but in real life, for like stratagem, and that's not what happened in real life. He spent most time in Ireland. I know that counts, but yeah, no. In the show, yeah, he's going there to fight Alfred. Like, for all intents and purposes, bro, like, Alfred is England. Okay? You get what I mean? Like, it's a fucking television show. So yeah, I do. I absolutely do. And I'll fight you on that one. Contract the film 6 episodes. It's a 6A, so yeah. No, I agree. I can't remember. I got to look back at our Reddit messages because I really went at this with people about like, everybody was like, oh, it's just a dream. And you guys, if you know Top Shelf Fandom, I hate bullshit storytelling. And if you just make anything on like, especially if you leave a series like at a point like where it's like, oh, everything you saw wasn't real, like it's the biggest fuck you in the world and it doesn't work. So I'm like, okay, so I get that he's gonna like, because we saw the preview. It was filmed, as Omar has intelligently said, alongside. So we saw Omar, or not Omar. I saw Omar, my dreams. But we saw Bjorn ride out, as we've seen now, and it's confirmed to be him, with the sword in the hand. So we had an idea that he was going to survive. I said a stomach wound would fester and be very painful, but you could strap some armor on him and let him go. So like right now we're still on the same page. But yeah, I think that's what's going down. Ivar alone, he has no current army. Remember, he needs allies, 1 or 2 that hinted. Yeah. Okay, so there's a valid point, right? Because I will argue your other point and all that valid. Rare that it's not. So yeah, who are his allies, right? Well, that's where my theory of he helps Kattegat, which is the capital of Kattegat, which isn't like it's a real place, but it's like a little slither of land between I'll fact check it. So yeah, I think that his people come because Bjorn will die, and Ivar is going to help the people of Kattegat fight the Rus off, because the Rus will not take control of Kattegat. That is my theory. So that's where his army comes from. That is where he gets his people. He gets them because he goes against the Rus, because there's no end game there for him that's like advantageous for his like grandiose, like future that he envisions. So yeah, no, but I mean, because think about it, man. Like you said, your argument's a good argument, and it really leaves a little other paths for Ivar other than him sticking to the whole betrayal thing, because we also see Vitchek see the Leviathan, the monster, blah blah blah, the fucking Kraken on a ship. So that would lead me to believe that Vitchek is the one that stays with the Rus on the way back, and he's seen Ivar again. This trailer is put out of sequence very well, so it makes it seem like it's spread out, it's different, like, oh, he sees Bjorn and it might be that. No, that's gonna happen like almost right away. Ivar then is going to turn and he's gonna do some strategy, which I'm just gonna go ahead and just put it out there. It's not gonna be all that impressive. It's gonna be like the same as like check out the ground that we're fighting on, but he's going to turn on the Rus. The Rus will be defeated, at least in their attempt to take Kattegat. He will then have the Norsemen from Kattegat, which seems to be all of fucking Scandinavia, Norway, the Low Countries, fucking group them all together for all intents and purposes, for the show. And yeah, then he takes them to England. That's where he gets his army. And there should be a stronghold in East Anglia, the Danelaw, which Ube, established, but I wouldn't count on that. No, Ivar will turn on the Rus. I think so. I think that's the case. Okay, they're probably going to get rid of Oleg at some point. There's a quick scene with Ivar pulling back Prince Igor. Yeah, Igor. What we see there, and that what Mackenzie's talking about, is a good point. But that, I want to say that it's fit check because the historical accounts do. But if I start doing that, then I have to start like citing the historical accounts, which I'd like kind of shit on other people for doing, because it's usually not the case. But for all intents and purposes, that is what happens to Vitchek in the historical accounts. He's burned at the stake by the Rus. So yeah, but I do believe that it's still possible for him to leave them and take the Norsemen with him. I think that it's definitely possible because Bjorn's going to die. He's definitely going to die. Ivar and Harold have an alliance. They've had an alliance. They all jump ship. It could happen. I'm going to propose my way. The point is, he's going to have an army. And if you want to just fall back on just straight, it's a little fluffy. I'll give it to you. It's not great. But for all intents and purposes, we should have a Norseman presence in England with East Anglia, known as Danelaw. And that's how it really happened. Gunhild, or Guthred, sorry, took control of Kensington during the holidays. So yeah, there's plenty of ways they can make it happen. They're gonna make it happen. He's definitely fighting Ivar. I will bet my life on it for whatever that's worth. There's no way that's not happening. And he's not gonna go there with some fucking scrounged army whatsoever. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. For all intents and purposes, like we talked about before, it's going to be hard for them to keep us being, supportive of Alfred because he can't die. I don't think you can take Alfred the Great out here. I think that Hirsch draws a line there. So him having maybe he doesn't need the Ragnar shit army, but him not having the biggest army doesn't necessarily fuck everything up. If that makes sense. 8 episodes is too much for Ivar, Alfred, too much in my opinion. I don't know, man. You got to have a whole change of direction. And Ivar could go there off of Igor, that's the kid, off his direction, because they do have a throwaway line last season in which they say we have plans for England, but everything in time. So we'll see. There's also a presence in York, so Ivar can invade from the north. Yeah, there's a strong Norse presence in England. It's not like he necessarily needs to bring the people of Kattegat. I think that makes sense thematically, but if you want to get tactical on it, yeah, in the end, he could fuck over Kattegat completely. He really could. And then he could invade from East Anglia, which is under Danelaw. That means judges, courts, everything. All that. Danelaw is, that's what was set up. That was actually what was set up by Guthred, who they killed off. But yeah, and Ubo is just a footnote in that. But yeah, he has that in Milt. You're right. Yeah, they had not taken back York. This is assimilation you've never seen it before and never see it again. The Vikings assimilated so quickly to England's ways. It's not even funny because you give people good food to eat and women men. And good food to eat, yeah, you get along quicker than you think, and you convert to whatever religion you want. Especially when the show takes a pretty atheist view on religion. They're not posing Christianity or paganism as the ultimate good. They're pretty straightforward. Ragnar is an atheist. They've said it. It's a pretty agnostic show at the very least, if not atheist. So yeah, they're not looking to shill any one way. So. In the Vikings, they did, they assimilated fairly quickly, quicker. Within one generation, they mixed right in. Is what it is. Paris took 3 to 4 episodes. I'm expecting the same with England. The Ruse storyline is far from over. Ivar has business to deal with there. I agree with you, Omar. We're gonna have to do this at a different time, though. Is it a little bit? Could it be a little bit rushed? Yeah, but I would argue that. If you gave me the choice right now of having Vikings last 2 more seasons, not these half seasons. Let's just say they really are 6Bs, season, whatever by now. They do 10 episodes per half. So they do 20 episodes a season. You give me 10 more episodes, I'd tell you no. If I was writing, I would tell you no. I don't think you need that. I think this is the proper amount of time. The only thing that stretches this a little bit is Bjorn. If Bjorn gets too drug out, that will be annoying. Besides that, I think they realize they had a good thing and it's going. Also, Michael Hurst is done with his deal here, and let's get into the production of it, and let's get into the business end of this with the streaming services. He is going to take Green Canopy, and that's his production company, and he is going to move it to Netflix, and they are going to make Valhalla, which will be, around the time of William the Conqueror and so forth. So we have a very, very prevalent and, just pretty much just unstoppable force of streaming services that are going to be coming into play. And there's going to be a lot. Why do you think they're releasing this all at once? This is a precedent that's being set. HBO Max is having simul releases with theaters. We have to understand that most of these companies and these studios, like Warner Media, not Warner Brothers Studio, owns the property in which HBO Max is getting. Meaning that's AT&T, which means what? Do they give a fuck about theaters? No, they don't. I know this isn't all that applicable to Vikings, but let me get it out. The business end of this is moving towards streaming services. They are not going to stretch themselves out on the History channel. I can't imagine what History thinks of any of this. That is MGM, by the way. The studio that is on top of that subsidiary is MGM. And I can't imagine they're all that pleased with it, but they don't really give a fuck. They are going with Amazon Prime, and they probably paid a pretty penny for it. HBO Max is having Warner Media sell them every single release in 2021 because Warner Media is AT&T. It's not Warner Brothers Studios. So we have streaming services and telecommunication companies that are all one conglomerate. So we're moving towards this way. They are going into Valhalla. There is a Valhalla wink and nod in this fucking trailer, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's not a great thing for content creators, but I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't hold the enjoyment of us as a fandom above the bullshit ad revenue I can get. I really don't. It's going to be less and less on this channel anyways. I'm working behind the scenes. I'm better at that anyways, and that is the way to go. We're going to get all the Vikings episodes all at once. We're going to start getting movies that are going to be given to us on streaming services, and the movie theaters are going to have to do a fuck of a lot to actually stay alive. And these production companies are going to saturate. And I actually think this is the one good thing that could come out of COVID. Better storytelling. Not Hollywood blockbuster, summer, action, Michael Bay bullshit. Not these fucking, just these big old extravaganzas and these, these low substance, high octane films. No. In a time when people actually had to tell long-form stories again. Will rule because streaming services make money off properties that have long, threaded out, actually, thought out stories. And I think that we're going to have a return to good storytelling because everybody's fucking, unfortunately, in a cramped up space. And nobody's going to go to the theater. And if you want to pay to go to the theater, theaters need to make a lot of changes, in my opinion. So I think that this is a move that really showcases their power. History is MGM. And they got outed on this. I can't imagine the History Channel is a fan of this, but let's remember the spinoff of Vikings is not at all affiliated with MGM Studios, guys. It is Valhalla. It is with Netflix. That's going to go with Warner's Media, and that's going to be part of that conglomerate right there. We're going to see a lot of there's going to be a lot of individual streaming. We already see Peacock. We see all this bullshit. It's going to get oversaturated, and then it's going to get probably down to a monopoly, which could be a problem. We'll talk about the mouse later. But yeah, no, I think that these 10 episodes make sense. I think these 10 episodes fit the modern day business model because I think that films were going the way of music, meaning how many CDs have you bought in the last 15 years? Fucking none, right? They were going digital anyways. COVID kicked them. There was a final Spartan kick off the fucking hill. It's done. That's done. And now digital entertainment and streaming services and instant releases of things simultaneously, whether it is a series or it is a film, are going to dominate this landscape. And the people that are aware of this and the people that want to tell good stories, long-form storytelling, Breaking Bad, The Sopranos, Game of Thrones, except for the last season, all these things that we love, these stand to be more profitable than your Michael Bay bullshit. So I think that that's the way it's going. And I actually think that 10 episodes for Vikings, I wouldn't pay it. If you put me in charge of their finances, they'd probably go fucking bankrupt because I'm not great fiscally. But at the same time, I wouldn't greenlight another fucking season for Vikings. No, they need 10 episodes. It can be done. This is fine. This is perfect. And I don't have to watch any more of those bullshit Looper fucking films. Those videos of the real reason that Travis Fimmel or Clive Stratton left Viking. No, motherfucker. They left because their contract was up and their story was done. Like, I'm so sick of those bullshit videos. I'm so sick of everybody's bullshit videos where you got story that should be told in a certain amount of time, not segmented out for a bunch of cucks that want to fucking leech onto it. Good. 10 episodes. Get it done. Start telling a new story. That's it. See. Yeah, I mean, listen, man. Omar, you think that I'm in a complete agreement with the path they've taken after Ragnar? No. You know I'm not. Watch my videos, you know that. But no, I don't think that as of right now, where they're actually at, because we can't go back and get like seasons to further flesh out. Should they have jumped to Ivar and Uba and fucking Sisgard, Sisgard fucking in a commercial? Absolutely not. No, I'll never back that. But we are where we are, and 10 episodes is more than enough. And I would not greenlit one more. Maybe, I guess, like, put a gun to my head, but I'll give you 5 more. But I don't see why. I honestly don't. This is good. 10 episodes is good. Let them go on to their next especially when you got a showrunner behind it that is eager to do something else. We know what that was with Game of Thrones. We saw that fucking outcome. So yeah, let's end it now. I think 10 episodes. But I'm pumped for this, guys. I'm pumped to talk about Vikings. I'll probably do 1 or 2, maybe 3 videos on it on this channel. Make sure to check out the other stuff that I do behind the scenes with other channels. I've got a new channel that I'm going to be working with that I'll be announcing soon. They do more like current events and political stuff that I'll be producing for. But also make sure to check out what I'm working with right now, Obsidian Nights, and we will have House of the Dragon streams coming back for you guys on Gray Area's channel, which is fantastic. And Matt Smith, Doctor Who, and the actor Philip from The Crown, which people are kind of up in arms about being casted, maybe hypothetically, is Daemon Targaryen, or not Daemon Targaryen, but yeah, as the Rogue Prince, so Daemon Blackfire. So yeah, Aemon. Why am I keeping? Yeah, it's too late. All right, been up for too long. We'll do it then. Make sure to subscribe though. Keep it coming, Patreon members. You guys are my lifeblood, and if you guys want anything on any series, please let me know. I will do it just for you guys. And yeah, I think it's a good thing. We consolidate and we do things of substance, because yeah, an episode every week is great for content, but they're really great for the story. We can soak up those Bjorn episodes and fucking one watch, wake up the next day, go to work, come home, watch the rest. I that's why I'm thinking 3 videos for the whole season. Makes sense to me. Thank you guys so much. Make sure to support creativity. Go to the Patreon. And thank you, as always, for coming by. And let's just be grateful that we have one good thing coming, and that's fantastic stories from fantastic storytellers.